Your microphone's on. Hey, welcome to Blockchain Basement. We are back, ready to have a really good time. I missed you guys. On today's episode, we're going to talk about what the market is doing right now, how to spot winning altcoin projects, and why INJ Injective Protocol might be primed to do really well over these next couple of months. All this and more on today's Blockchain Basement. Bum, 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 bum. You ready for this? I'm ready. Welcome.
If you're gonna screw me, at least pull my hair.
Hell yeah. What you got?
They could start chopping off fingers. They're like, give me your seed phrase, but I don't know it.
Out to give the numbers out. And I was like, no, hang up the phone right now.
Or like when it dropped in 2020, was it like exciting?
400,000 to 600,000. The generational signals are now
Level. So I don't even know if we're gonna get back below there, but if we do, that's kind of where we
All right, we're gonna have a really good show for you guys today. We are happy to be back. A huge shout out to the guys from Sin City Crypto. They did a really good job hosting the show while we were all out of town, but everybody's back in the house now. Great new energy. Happy to see you guys. We have a really good show for you guys. We have, of course, Ali B, the lovely Ali, and we had the doggo here, but he has jumped off the couch at this point. The one and only Drew Wider, Crypto Prepper. And on the board, Biscuit Jesus, looking sharp. Oh, look, he's my invert. He's my the antithesis today. He's my opposite. Yeah. And then next to me, of course, we've got the one and only Satoshi Nakamoto. No, I'm just kidding. It's not Satoshi. It's the leader of the Bitlab himself, Kelly Kellum, joining us in studio here today. Oh, look at that camera. He's sliding over. But yeah, we're going to be looking at some really good stuff real quick. We'll take a quick peek at the market. I don't know. Well, wait a minute. I forgot to shout out, of course. The show is not the same without all of you guys. Husker Dan, Sack Nasty, Bad Man, what's it say? Manalite, Crypto Naughty, K24, Crypto Captain Daddy, Sean S, Solar Mine in Spain, Nick Godopoulos, TJ's Chicken Salad, Blazing 2JZ, Whole Digital. We've got, let's see, Aztec World, Manawak, Multi-Sig Dummy, Chemistry Bro, Urkelson, White Rabbit, Crypto Tony, It's Bungalow Bill, Pun Any Vamper, Corey Harden, IB Mike King, and many, many more. Shout out to all of you guys. We love having you here. If you don't mind smashing that like button for us, obviously we're trying to get the word out there, help people change their lives when it comes to financial savings, financial freedom, and hey man, get you some of them biddies. Get you some of them biddies. So all right, real quick today, we got to pull back on the market a little bit. Flat-ish on the 24-hour, but we're coming in a little over $1 trillion. It is interesting that Ethereum dominance ticking up more and more at 19% now. Bitcoin kind of between 45 and 46 for a while, but we are seeing alts getting pretty much hammered. 7% pullback on the week for Bitcoin. If we look, obviously we were talking about this right before the show. We touched, it looks like, almost 31, last week, and then have just been pretty much pulling back all this week. Frank was showing us on today's stream, we've got, looks like likely coming back down into that 25 range. I mean, it seems most of the stuff seems to be leaning bearish at this point. That I wanted to start with this from Crypto in the Black. It's a little old at this point, but it still applies because we're still pulling back. Good morning. Do you feel like your body is leaving your soul after the recent 13% Bitcoin correction? Then you might suffer from what we call peak net worth syndrome, a state in which you associate your happiness with the highest net worth you had and feel dead when prices plummet. The sooner you are able to switch your mindset back to a long-term view, the sooner this state will end. And then he's obviously a little tongue-in-cheek here. A doctor might give you the following advice: grass-touching pill, dollar-cost averaging chicken soup, Ben & Jerry's antidepressant, Project Research Medicine, zoom out goggles. Don't let the marketplace dictate your inner world. Zoom out and DCA away the pain. Oh, there you go. There's the cat with the...
He's dead.
Yeah, the soul is leaving its body. Oh, perfect. Thank you, BJ. But yeah, I thought that was just a good reminder. I guess if you've seen massive pullbacks coming in, if you've seen corrections on the market, it's feeling great. Obviously, we had a pretty good move all the way from the bottom. Everybody's starting to talk about, oh, we're going to 30, we're going to 34, 40. You're starting to hear theories for 50 coming out. Just stay patient, zoom out. This is still a part of the accumulation. This is still the accumulation part of the cycle. So you're going to have more opportunities, have some fun along the way. But I wanted to actually throw it to Kelly a little bit here, because you said you were talking earlier about more like not psychology, but being in a mixed signals market, right? Which we kind of are in the middle. It was very bullish for a few weeks there. It seems like we're on a pullback right now. But what were some of the, obviously Kelly from Bitlab Academy, tell us a little bit about what you were sharing with people on the Bitlab channel this morning.
Well, I mean, it's important, the $31,000 level. It's not surprising that we're getting a pullback now. The problem is for not just you or me, or it's everybody in crypto and any sort of asset class really, at some point buys the top and sells the bottom. And sometimes maybe you buy mid-trend and it's that peak net worth syndrome. You get so excited because it's starting to go up. And so you don't realize how blinded by directional bias that you get. And so right now is a key point, because we're getting up to that $30,800, $31,000 level. And if you have the directional bias sort of dominating your analysis, then you're going to see supporting evidence, and you're going to find supporting evidence to continue going long, or not practicing healthy risk management, not protecting yourself in this market as it does ebb and flow, because that's what markets do. And right now there are bullish signals that show that we could go higher. However, when you zoom out and look more broadly, I would argue for everybody out there, if you don't notice if you have a directional bias or not, sometimes we don't until after our capital has been depleted. Allow yourself, make it a part of your process. If you do see a bunch of, if you see signals that are suggesting bullishness, whether it's bullish or bearish, wherever we're at in the market, force yourself to first plan for the opposite narrative. So if you're very bullish, or you're starting to see bullish signals, try to disprove that theory. Try to disprove that thesis. Look for potential bearish context that disproves those bullish signals. In this case, we've got a wealth of information coming from traditional assets, coming from, if you're watching the BitBoy Crypto Show earlier, I pulled up a chart from Game of Trades showing that we're approaching record levels of the put ratio, which is basically option sells on traditional assets. Now, isn't Bitcoin supposed to be a traditional hedge against inflation in traditional markets? I think that's going to be ideal when we get there. But if you are actively trading, then you cannot look at that yet in any sort of context. This is something years down the road. If you want that to be the case, there's no problem with buying and holding for multiple years until that's the case. But the truth is, most of us get far too hijacked by emotions within the charts, and the price action does that on purpose. Market makers and smart money pushes price to a certain level, 31,000. Everybody thought it was going to have trouble at 28 to 30. We blasted right through that and got right up to that $31,000, getting people emotionally involved, wanting them to getting people to FOMO, only to have it reverse. So I'm just saying, zoom out, not only of the charts, of your emotions, also zoom into the fundamental data and always try to disprove your thesis. And with that, we go a lot deeper in all this step by step in the brand new Bitlab Academy. We've been working for months and months since I've been on the team. The whole HIT network really. I've just thrown just a stack of stuff every week on the desk to the editors. You can
if you want to pull this up, we can show some of the courses upcoming.
We're gonna have a lot of free content in there, so everybody's gonna be able to get started for free, get the basics, Bitcoin 101, blockchain 101. If you want to go deeper, you can go into the on-chain data analysis and candles and candle patterns and trading strategies and all this content. It's not like we're just doing it and we're done. We're going to be continually recording new content for essentially indefinitely for at least the next 3 years. I mean, mining, NFTs, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be continually added to this. And as a member, you get access to everything, every course that we have. So if you haven't yet, go over to bitlabacademy.com and at least sign up for the newsletter and join today, because the prices will be going up when the new website goes live. And if you remember before that, you get to keep the lower prices for life.
There you go. Awesome. Appreciate that. And there's, he also does live on YouTube. Bitlab Academy YouTube channel goes live every single day, does lessons for you guys, building a really great community there of traders and people, learning about, not just Bitcoin, Ethereum, but all sorts of altcoins, NFTs, trading them, helping each other out, and really having that community in the Discord is a big part of this kind of crypto journey. As you guys all already know in the chat, having people to talk about crypto with really helps stay engaged, stay up to speed, and you get to hear other opinions and all that sort of stuff too. Oops.
Yeah, and the whole focus of the Bitlab YouTube is people ask, what's the difference between that and the courses? The courses are broken down. Like if we're talking about support and resistance, it's a 5 to 8 minute video specifically about support and resistance. And then you move on, you take a little quiz, move on to the next lesson. Each one's focused, but the YouTube is all about bridging that gap from beginner to pro, on tying in what's going on in the market on a daily basis, but then not just, going over people's heads. Because I remember when I started in crypto, watching some channels, some advanced strategies, it sounded like people were talking Chinese or Japanese to me. And so it's like we break down TA, we do that, we provide targets, but that's not the point. The point is, how did we arrive at that? We try to really, so if you want advanced stuff or the beginner stuff, but bigger question, you've got some nice threads on today. It looks like we're shopping at the same store. Yeah. Where are we shopping today?
Yeah, it's all, for those of you in the chat that are asking if anybody wants to get any of these hoodies that you see, it's all at hitmerch.com. I know a lot of people were asking in the morning stream. Also, I saw Captain Corey here in the chat. He said, hey, folks, are we bottoming out on apathy soon? I thought this was a pretty interesting question. He said, what's the what's the trend on YouTube and Twitch? Are you seeing less views in 6 months and considering the Q4? Can you scroll up on, I just lost it on Twitch. I was trying to do it from memory and then I forgot.
I think
chat, BJ?
I think though, with the engagement, if they're asking about that,
you're on the wrong side.
Yeah, you're good. Basically saying, what's the trend like for viewing numbers on YouTube and Twitch, seeing it's less than 6 months to Q4? I would guess the bullish pros are on positioning themselves these days. So I will say the trends, this is very fascinating to keep an eye on. The trends on YouTube are very similar with the market when it comes to prices. So the sentiment generally follows the price. So like, for example, this recent uptick where we went from 25 up to 30, we saw numbers, we started getting higher live stream numbers. We started to see those numbers tick up. Generally speaking, they were pretty much at all-time lows, close to when the price was at all-time lows. I mean, peak boringness. So people are gonna be very interested when the price is falling because they're interested, and when it goes sideways, that's when they've been holding steady. So they have been down and just now starting to move back up, which just like the price has, I think that trend could continue, and that's across the board. Obviously, we operate a lot of different channels. There's a lot of variables when it comes to views on a YouTube channel. That being said, when it comes to Bitcoin, yes, sentiment and price and interest is the #1 metric. Obviously, the more people search for Bitcoin videos, the more YouTube will serve them, the more views they get.
And if you get a large drop really quickly, you'll see a spike in views for a day or two, and then the views drop off a cliff after that.
Yeah. So, all right, real quick, I want to dig into this article. This is going to be the main focus of today. I think this is very helpful. I wanted to, they give some interesting tips in here. Wanted to kind of just talk through the different sections. look at the, kind of what I would been looking at when you get a big pullback here, because I see pullbacks a lot of times as opportunities. They're not always, because a lot of these alts are being like, I don't know if we were talking about this on the show or not. Algo, we were talking about algo getting hammered against the Bitcoin chart. Yeah. So these are some tips and tricks. Here are 10 data points to help you figure out whether a project could be worthy of investment or should be desperately avoided. Now, again, you're supposed to use all of your own, decision-making parameters. These are just some advice that this author here thought made sense. And then oh crap, I hope I don't lose all my highlights. Okay, good. There. And I just wanted to hear the team's point of view too, and then we're going to, again, use this to pick a project, which I already gave away in the title and the thumbnail, but more on that in a minute. So, all right, here are 10 data points to help you figure out whether a project could be worthy of investment or should be desperately avoided. Utility, the differentiating factor, utility or a crypto project. Let's see, without a purpose and a value, demand can drop and eventually the project may cease to exist, especially when times get hard and a bear market hits, which is extremely true. So I guess we'll just go around the room real quick. I mean, obviously utility, you guys feel like is a pretty strong indicator, something to be considered when you're looking at altcoins. Yeah. Most of the time.
I mean, most of them aren't in utility yet.
Right.
Like when I think of utility, I'm thinking of, does it have a reason for existing just flat out? Is it fixing a problem? Does it have a focus? Does it stay focused on that problem? Does the problem exist at all? We might be talking about liquidity issues for countries that don't have liquidity issues. If we're talking about implementing these different communicating ISO tokens and there's no liquidity crunch in this first world country, then you got to kind of keep things within reason. You know what I mean? Like the existing financial structures that are, sound to a degree right now, they're not going to be pulling all the strings in the world to redo their financial plumbing just because some shiny new project came out. So utility, it means a slew of different things to me. On the front end, the hypothetical end is what we see mostly in crypto about different options of what it could fix, about data flow or money flow or basically data housing and organization. But the utility being in action, that's few and far in between. It'll be interesting to see what utility the AI coins that are coming out now actually do capture in a few years, if anything. Because there's no guarantee of that, and Bitcoin Lightning's out, but it's just hard to say that, the utility is already there if it's not being implemented in real world terms.
No, that's a good point. And I'd almost say, to kind of add a caveat here, like utility definitely matters, but it's almost like to what you were saying, the speculation of, utility speculation. Like if you can get people excited about the potential utility, especially when it comes to altcoins, you could see some of those really do extremely well. Now they may never actually play out into fruition, but if you're early enough in speculating on it before other people do, obviously that's where you can take your profits and get out. And some really good stuff in the chat. Let us know what you guys do. Crypto Stevo says, do your own research with facts and metrics such as daily active users, wallet activity, TVL, total value locked, number of dApps, that sort of stuff. We're going to get into that in just a minute. So if you guys have any things you guys do as well, let us know. So I would say utility, or at least speculation of utility, definitely matters. Unless you're talking about a meme coin, unless you're talking about, in certain niches, certain factors, you got to know the types of projects, and then it's all hype, it's all marketing, it's all just fun.
I want to say on meme coins, there is the utility of sticking it to the man when you're coming out with projects like Gensler or all these other different projects. I mean, it's basically a way to voice your discontent for the existing system, and in a degree, I'd consider that a utility. It's a form of financial protest.
Really good way to put it. Yeah, the utility is making your voice heard. It's almost like you said, a protest, or on other ones, the utility can just be fun, having a good time, just goofing off. So
I have a question for Kelly from Rug Gang. Why is no one talking about the almost year-long Bitcoin bullish divergence on daily VMC / Market Cipher B? Kelly, what's the deal?
I haven't seen that. I haven't pulled up Market Cipher lately, but
he posted a link.
But I would. With that, I would say even just looking at the patterns of, on a daily, 3-day, weekly, it doesn't matter, any of those time frames where you can zoom out and look all the way back basically the top of the bull run at 64,000, and then all the way down to the bottom at the end of 2022 December, before we had this large push up, we were in a massive falling wedge, which is a bullish structure. So there was a lot of bullish divergences on different time frames on that. So it definitely makes sense if there was a longer term bullish divergence there. But I will say with that, I want to tie that back into also with what Drew and TJ were talking about with the meme coins, with like really considering what's going on with the markets. I want people to be aware that if you're looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum or Cardano or Ethereum, anything within the top 100, they're going to, the price reactivity and how they engage, how participants engage in trading and where price action goes on a chart for larger coins is likely going to behave different than a meme coin. So you need to have different strategy for the two. So on the Bitcoin, yes, there's large bullish divergence, also bullish structure with the falling wedge. On meme coins, the strategy with meme coins is one, healthy risk management. And part of that risk management is not allocating more than you can afford to lose. The second is patience, because sometimes it may do nothing at all. The market could be ripping and the meme coin will do nothing. It might be some meme coins don't push until the very end of the bull market. Interestingly, right now, I won't call it the end of this bullish trend, but on the short term, it's interesting that we're getting a pullback right now when we're getting a lot of these smaller, newer meme tokens getting a strong push up. So risk management, healthy allocation of capital that you can afford to lose, patience, and then the other one is be aware of greed. When it pumps, get out.
Get out quick.
Yeah.
You don't need to have it pump and go. But if, like, for instance, you know how many people, you remember this when Sheeb started pushing last year? And there's arguments. If it could only go to $1, do you realize before they started doing the token burning, even at this stage now, but even before they started doing the token burning, for SHIB to have gotten to $1 a year and a half ago, that would have been a $250 trillion market cap.
Easy.
Okay. And so you have to understand
And for perspective,
the
guys,
tokenomics.
the entire crypto market cap is a $1 trillion. All crypto, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. And most of it is Bitcoin and Ethereum.
I know.
So, yeah,
The
go ahead.
moment you run around showing everyone your phone with the graph vertically pointed upwards and you're all excited, like, look at all my money. That's probably a good time.
Yeah, that's
to
when
take
it's
some
time to
profits.
sell.
Oh, that's
Sell
so
it.
good. So last week I had Bill Noble on the show, and he was talking about that exact narrative when people start feeling proud about, their portfolio. It's not just when it's going up. And I was thinking back to both the 64K top and the 69K top, 68.7, whatever it was, top. During those two tops, I remember if I'd scroll back on my phone, I have all these snapshots of my portfolio. And when you're snapshotting your portfolio, take profits, because within 3 days of both of those, the market just goes down. And then you're in denial. You're like, no, it's going to come back up. And then it drops another $20,000. You're like, why was I greedy? Man, stick to your strategy. Take profits. Otherwise, they're meaningless.
Yeah. No, I agree. Really good stuff there. And, with the meme coins especially, I don't understand how SHIB got that narrative of going, man, we got lights going. But going all the way to $1, I'm trying to explain that to so
How
many
did
people.
that even happen?
That's my bad.
I
I
don't
plugged
know.
in my
Okay.
laptop. I think I bumped something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, we did see, can you scroll up a little bit for me on the basement, BJ?
I cannot. I'm petting Doug.
You're petting the puppy. There was somebody asked Allie. I saw somebody that asked Allie a question. Keep going. There it is. Multi-sig dummy said, Allie B Crypto, we're having a girl and her name is Iris Elise, which
I
actually
love that name.
that is a great name.
That was on our list. Iris was.
Yeah. They asked, how's your pregnancy going? We'll remember TJ is your assistant while you're pregnant. Oh, that's funny. But
True.
how's it going?
It's going great.
Yeah. Okay.
And a lot
I
of
get
the
bigger
staff
every
here,
day.
Yeah.
A lot of the staff here is gaining weight, so we can go along with her in her journey. As you can notice, my healthy bags here.
Yes.
We're
who
a team.
said-
We work as a team.
I thought it was funny or clever. Somebody said Allie's bodybuilding.
Yeah, I like that too.
That is good.
I like
She
to
is
think of it
body-
that
that's-
way.
You're a
Yes,
bodybuilder.
Literally.
Are you pregnant? No, I'm a bodybuilder.
Kids
All
are
right.
fun though. I took mine to Talladega.
Yeah.
You know, everyone looked at me like I was a psychopath, you know, but
Well, that
whatever.
has nothing to do with your
That's
kids.
Did they get
but-
all hyped up on Mountain Dew?
Yeah.
Like little spider monkeys?
No Mountain Dew, but a lot of fun to be had. And, you know, they didn't get heat stroke. They loved it. So it was good.
A couple more metrics to keep an eye on. Some of you guys have mentioned them in the chat. Obviously, token holder or token percentage data is your best friend. So suppose you find a project and 80% of the tokens are held by the top 100 holders. In that case, the likelihood is that the majority is team distributed or or that whales hold the majority and can easily manipulate the price action as a result. So this is something we actually looked at last week. Even something like Matic actually fell into this category. This doesn't always necessarily represent a negative. That being said, something like SHIB also falls into this category. They use that to their advantage. They can easily manipulate the price to the upside or to the downside. So you just have to be aware. It's very easy to get dumped on projects like these if they don't have huge market cap. Like Matic has a pretty massive market cap.
Yeah.
Still very easy to manipulate if there's only 100 addresses that are controlling so much of the supply. So this is spot on research here, but just take that with a grain of salt. Marketing, and this is one that actually is interesting to me because I feel like certain project, there's a disagreement on some of this stuff. So a lot of people kind of feel like, hey, if the tech is good, people will come. If we build a really, really good product, it's just everybody's gonna use it and talk about it. I don't agree, especially in the stage that we're in right now. We're very heavy speculation. You need marketing. You need people talking about your project, your coin. You need buzz. You want other people making videos about it, explaining it, that sort of stuff. So, and having eyes on a project is certainly an important aspect. Quite simply, marketing is required in any expansion, whether that be investments, driving engagement, or building a community or product. So if you're looking at two different altcoins that solve a similar problem, like say, hey, they're both a layer 2 scaling solution on Ethereum. They both use ZK, like tech wise, they're checking off every box. Okay. They think, they have high throughput. They have zero knowledge, like everything looks good. This one has strong marketing. This one has no marketing, or this one has great marketing. This one has okay marketing. I would go with the one that has the better marketing because they're going to have a better chance of, getting that network effect, that critical mass. And there you go. So token distribution, look at the numbers. This is similar to looking at the wallet holders, but poor token distribution can lead to concentration of tokens and a lack of decentralization, conflicts of interest and lack of liquidity. That's the main one you want to be looking for, is lack of liquidity. Especially we were talking about meme tokens, meme projects. You can have $200 turn into $2 million, but you might only be able to sell it for $100,000. You might only be able to get 100,000 out of your 2 million on paper if there's not enough liquidity there. So if you guys,
hey man, I got into some small alts last bull market.
Yeah.
And as much as I'm aware of this, there's always room to learn.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we forget about this. We get excited about something. And I remember, and I forget what the project was, but I remember being high in profit. And I mean, it was like 500 or 600% in profit. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take some money out of this asset to reallocate it. Smart thing to do. Well, I took out like $6,000 and it crashed the price because it's such a small token, the market cap is so slow, so low that when I took out $6,000 or $7,000, it brought the price down like 140% in that moment. I was like, well, man, I can't. If I continue doing this even over a couple of days, it's going to drastically impact the price. And so because you're on paper, even 1,000x, a lot of times it's, what was a coin that recently, was it Pepe? There was somebody that had like some ungodly.
Yeah, it was like they put $250 in. I think they had close to 2 million, like at the very, very beginning, they had 2 million in Pepe on paper.
Right. And you have no way to get it out because nobody's buying. So you've got to be, and that's one of the tools that you need in your tool belt is to understand these tokenomics and liquidity, because this is why it's so important to diversify your portfolio and have it more heavily weighted. This is not financial advice. This is strategy from having lost money. I've paid the tuition. You don't have to.
Right. Yeah.
Diversify your portfolio, weight it more heavily with stronger, larger market caps. And then if you take a swing, with a couple $100 or $1,000 or whatever small percentage of your portfolio with the small market cap coins, you can let them sit and develop so liquidity comes into those projects, and then you don't have problems taking it out.
Yep.
Someone asked in the YouTube chat earlier, should I buy Pepe?
You should do what you think makes the most sense for you. Generally speaking, with memes, you want to be early. by the time a lot of people are already selling and taking profit, you might not be early anymore, but you know, who knows?
To correct my math to Razmataz, 140% down. Let me retract that. What I meant was it went down from what it was, down 140%. So it went down like 30% or something.
Yeah, like 50 or 40%. You lost 140% of your gains at that time. Yeah. I thought that was funny. He's calling you out there. Then I also saw Stack Nasty 86. You're not alone in that. A lot of people have had that situation as well. So
I'd be extra careful on Pepe. Something just broke on cryptocurrency Reddit, and looks like their coin's contract gives its creators the power to limit transactions per wallet, and also can forbid them as a whole. So
there's something, you got to be real careful. I mean, like Safe Moon had a lot of weird stuff in the contract, so you just got to be careful with all that stuff. And all that does start to come out. So here you go. Tokenomics. You guys hear us talk about it all the time. Here's where you need to pay attention. This is an extremely important part of the process, looking at the supply, the demand, the distribution, the longevity, the list goes on and on. All of these and more can come under the tokenomics department of a project. Equally, all of these can play a big part in deciding whether the tokenomics signal a good or poor project, as the numbers matter. And if they do not look good in the long term, the chances of a project's longevity are on the line. Now, again, this is all long-term mindset, strategies that we're looking at here, most of this stuff. And you guys, if you guys have been in crypto for a while, this is most of the basic metrics you guys use when you're looking at projects. I wanted to start to outline this for some of the newer people in the audience. Obviously, most of this information can be found on Crypto Market Cap.
Yeah. Coin Market Cap.
Coin Market Cap. Yeah, my bad.
Pull it up and just show them really quick.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things, Coin Market Cap, CoinGecko, any of the ones you use, they provide, you don't even feel like you're doing analysis when you're looking at it, but it really is. Like when you pull it up, you see the market cap, you see the total token supply, you see what the current token supply, because some tokens have inflation. They might, for instance, Filecoin. I really like Filecoin, but one of the things that worries me about Filecoin and makes me want to allocate some capital into Arweave as well is diversifying between those two projects, but also Filecoin still has a long way to go to get to their total market cap, whereas Arweave is already they're pretty far along the way, meaning the inflation is less on Arweave. So you can see there, you got market cap, fully diluted market cap, which would be if every token was available. And then you have the volume on the centralized exchange, the decentralized volume, circulating supply, all this. Believe it or not, just looking at this, you're doing a form of fundamental quantitative analysis.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what, again, that's a lot of those numbers he just mentioned were in, look at the numbers in here, distribution, supply and demand, and then community. Obviously, this is where, again, this can tie into marketing as well, but community is a big part of it. Who's talking about it? How, are they active on social? Who's on the team? This is another one, looking at the credentials. Oh, like you're looking at Cardano. Who's this Charles Hoskinson guy? Oh, he was one of the co-founders of Ethereum. He's been involved in cryptography for a long time. Like looking at, we've talked about Ajax a lot, Singularity DAO, Ben Goertzel, and, people, their track, and you don't want to 100% make a decision based on just the team or just the track record, just the supply tokenomics. Because again, if you make a decision based on one parameter, a lot of these projects are good at using these things to make them look attractive. And you say, oh man, look at this coin, it has really low supply and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, but it has no liquidity, no marketing, no utility, no team. Like you need to have all of these different things when you're looking at this stuff. So obviously who's on the team matters, what they're trying to do, the roadmap. For those who like to follow along, if deadlines or promises are not met, caveat here, Ethereum. I was doing it before BJ did. For BJ, I was front running BJ on that one, but so again, you take all this with a grain of salt. But if deadlines or promises are not met, not only does it impact the investor, but the expansion and the trust are also lost too. Spotting whether a roadmap has been followed and goals have been met are crucial to figure out whether a crypto project is worthy of investment or not. Active addresses, that was one I think Crypto Steve-O mentioned. Again, that shows you how many different holders there are, not just, and addresses is different than active addresses. These are people that are actually interacting with the ecosystem, making transactions, sending or receiving. A low amount of active addresses can indicate a lack of interest or trust, and conversely illustrate a problem in the overall project. Like, for example, you want to be looking at 24-hour volume, because that's a really way to look at all of the transactions happening. Oh, look, there's good activity on this network. if you're looking at 24-hour volume, there's a lot of volume there, and then you start looking at active addresses and you realize like, hey, wait a minute, there's good volume, but it's coming from 35 addresses, even though there's supposed to be thousands. Oh, there's really not that many people using this network. It's just a couple whales making big transactions back and forth, keeping it alive. Looking at the different active addresses, which is why Bitcoin active addresses, Ethereum active addresses, continually moving up over time, continues to make it a stronger and stronger project.
Yeah.
Good old exchange listings. This one's pretty basic. Obviously, if you want people to, if you want the price to go up, people are going to need to be able to buy the tokens. People need access to the tokens. So getting listed on things, again, bigger, medium, or small, medium, large exchanges, whether it's, a BitThumb or OKX or a BitGet, up to Geminis, up to Coinbases and Krakens and Binances and, all those of the worlds. With volume comes obviously activity and users and price and all that sort of stuff. So I just wanted to go down. That was a pretty good list. A lot of it's basic. If you guys have been buying altcoins for a while, but I just wanted to give you those parameters and just show you why and how I look at, projects and coins. And so one thing I like to do, especially when we have a pullback on day, like on things like we've got right now, is to come to CoinMarketCap and say, all right, we've got some things down. What alts have been hammered that I've been keeping my eye on? I usually go to the weekly, say, all right, we've got some stuff that's up. Hey, speaking of like BitTorrent, Leo, Floki, all right, cool. But like, what's been hammered? Okay, INJ. That's something I've talked about. It's part of the Cosmos ecosystem, something we've looked at for a while. Rocket Pool doesn't do much for me. Ajax. Okay, that's one that might do, Phantom, the graph. I think, Drew, you said you scooped some of the graph, right?
I did. I scooped some of the graph uncomfortably.
Right.
I definitely don't have much fiat hanging around right now, but I've been watching the graph and Ajax and that conversation. I was sitting there conversating with my wife or just different people, and the graph is more accessible to the mainstream public, I feel like, right now than Ajax. On Coinbase, you have to move over to Coinbase wallet and swap Ethereum out for it and still kind of know what you're doing there. I think that the graph is going to be more that low-hanging fruit for this AI narrative, which I just have been thinking more and more about AI over the weekend in its different use cases, image creation. I ended up in a pinch where I was like, man, image creation is going to be a huge thing for the mainstream public when they realize that, for tokens like Render. But just AI in general, I feel like is going to be a really strong conversation for like 3 or 4 years from now. Like, we're already almost kind of tired of it. We've been talking about it for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Right.
Drew, let me ask you a question.
Look at
my
Doug
God. Look at him.
Do you think, I was thinking about this earlier when you brought up AI. Do you think that there's a possibility that
Kelly, you're killing me with this mic today.
Well, it keeps falling.
Falls. There you go. No, you got it.
Hold it. I got you.
Yeah.
Speaking to the mic. No, do you think there's a possibility with the AI that as it gets smarter, and learns, because it is also a learning mechanism, right?
Yeah.
That it realizes part of its self-actualization is something that creates, and nobody, kind of like Satoshi Nakamoto, nobody knows who it is or what it is. Do you think that there's going to be an AI mechanism out there that creates its own cryptocurrency to where, so that way it could basically drive its own value, so then then it would have its own value that it could then transact to create something?
That's an interesting.
Why would it leave currency in the human's hands?
Right.
After watching our arbitrage and doing all the data crunching on our monetary theory, from a macro sense, there's no way an AI.
No, because for instance, like, think about Solana. It had such a high percentage of the early investors, and for Bitcoin as well. I don't want to say thank God, that's the wrong word. We all know that if one coin, thank Jehovah God Almighty, if one token from the old Satoshi Nakamoto wallets moved, it would cause a seismic shake in the Bitcoin markets.
Absolutely.
Now, but there's a large. I mean, I don't even remember. Do you know how many thousands that are supposed to be in those wallets?
In the Satoshi Nakamoto, 1 million Bitcoin.
So 1 million Bitcoin. So that's a huge amount from the initial creator. So if an AI created it, I wouldn't think it's about them caring about humans potentially making money on it. I think it would allow them to then have currency that an asset that they can drive the value of, and then use that, because they had access to it, to then transact that for other fiat currencies, so that they could basically operate within within the world. I think that'd be.
I love that's a great theory.
I love thinking about this.
Complete dominance, complete control.
Yeah.
Hey, if it's good enough for the humans to use it, why wouldn't the AI?
What's going to be really valuable to AI, you guys? I feel like what's going to be power,
like energy.
Energy is going to be important, but I think the most important thing, the oil to AI and this next industrial revolution, is going to be data.
Data, yeah, good
data.
point.
That is everything that we interact, all the information we've given to AI, that is going to be the gold. And I think there's going to be a degree of requirement for us to keep perpetuating that information flow for it to a degree. And I, hope that we stay in the mix as far as that need, but the value transfer, like what's actually going to be valuable to AI, I don't see, just placeholders for value as something that AI is going to really grasp onto. I think it's going to be actual actionable data, and information that I can use in the real world. So I don't know. Like I was just, I was in a conversation about, what AI is going to transfer back and forth to, or is it going to accept human fiat? Is it going to accept Bitcoin? What's it going to gravitate to? And I think more and more that it's just, it just wants our data. You know what I mean? It just wants to know more and do more.
I like it. No, that's a good theory. I do want to come back to a couple of these altcoins real quick. But while you guys are here, if you like humans operating this earth, smash that like button. We got about 380 people in here right now. If we could get.
Are you a speciesist?
I'm a species. Yeah, I'm pro-human, guys. I'm a human. I'm a human.
How dare you?
But I almost want to know who in here can name all the different levels of the phylogenetic tree of life.
Not me. Not I.
You lost me at phylogenetic.
Yeah.
Is that you?
Family. I know what I know. Like family, genus, species. That's as far as I got. It was life science. So.
You lost me at phallic.
Kings play cards on funny green stools. So
Kings play cards.
Yeah,
is that like kingdom, phylum? Is it this what you're
keep
talking about?
going.
Yeah.
You're almost there.
Kingdom, phylum. Say the acronym again.
Kings play cards.
So phylum.
Yeah. Well, you said.
So class, order.
Yeah, I used to know this was like counting through my head. It's part of life. I went to a place called Living Science. Like they'd be so disappointed if I didn't know this. Yeah, family, genus, species. I know it ends with that.
There we go.
Yeah. So there you go.
I have a question. IB Mike King.
Yeah.
He's a good
Kelly,
guy.
on optimism, there is supposed to be a massive unlocks the next 2 years. Can y'all speak to those?
Wait, but yes, we can. But let me actually. I got to finish this thought because it is
okay.
I was going somewhere with all of this stuff about picking an altcoin, and so. When I look at this, like I see INJ as a 30% down. I mentioned the graph. Arbitrum was another one we've talked about a lot that I like for the rest of this cycle. Both down, pretty far. So I've been watching INJ for a while. I think Crypto Steve said, "Oh, I turned you on to INJ." You have been talking about INJ for a while. I know a lot of you guys that like Cosmos. Injective protocol is a protocol within that system. I've been aware of it. I think it was Coin Bureau's pick for like top coin of 2020 or 2021. It really didn't do anything at all. I mean, it went up a little bit through 2020 and 2021.
What did they do?
It's a protocol on Cosmos, and that's what I'm about to get to. So we've got the DeFi investor here. He said the next few months will be interesting for Atom or Cosmos, which I agree as well. I'm a big believer in it. Native USDC is coming. DYDX V4 is launching soon. Replicated security is finally live. Cosmos IBC is expanding to Ethereum. Many smart people. Excuse
Bless
me.
you.
Godzilla.
Also building on Cosmos. So this is all true. And then this guy here, which is the number one Achilles heel for Cosmos, he says, even if the Cosmos system is expanding, I don't see why the Atom token will catch the value, rather the underlying protocols. And this is something that's been happening right now. And the guy says, yes, true. They're working on new ways to improve the Atom tokenomics, though, which part of that is through the centralized security hub. We've covered a few times on Cosmos that does add utility to the Atom token. However, what he's saying here, rather the underlying protocols, what he's talking about is INJ. And we've seen INJ doing extremely well this year already. They become, you can see it's pretty much, somebody said, it's
not bad.
Oh, hold on. You
Is
guys
that the
can't see.
real crypto savvy in the chat?
No, it's definitely not.
No.
Okay.
But holler if you find him.
Yeah.
I've been looking.
So basically since April 8th, price, from $5 went all the way to almost $10, but it's on a massive pullback right now. So this is one I'm keeping an eye on. I like it really. If you come, let's look at the all. So like here it peaked in 21 at about $22. So it had a pretty good run up, and now it's all the way back down. But really, if you look maybe in this range here, you could say, oh wait, right here is what I'm looking at, around $6. You could, it's pulling back to kind of some local areas here. Where is it back here? 6-ish. So this is one that has utility, has a community, has a good team, has a good use case coming up, a good narrative for the next 3 to 4 months. And it's also on the biggest pullback on the week from what we've seen from Bitcoin. And then same with Arbitrum. I really like Arbitrum long term. You can see obviously I've got a little bit of it, but not a ton. Right after the airdrop came out, I was kind of waiting to see what happened. Big spike, ran all the way up to, what does that say? Almost
$1.77, $1.79.
Yeah, almost $1.80, and we've pulled all the way back down to $1.30. I really like it between about $1 and $1.30. It seemed to settle around there when it very first launched. And so that's kind of how I just wanted to share how I use the information we just went over to find some of these projects on days like today. Hey, these are two that I like that check a lot of those boxes long term. Throw some money in there, and if it goes down a little bit more, I might, again, with Arbitrum, I might buy some at $1.30. If it goes back down to $1, I might buy a little bit more. All of these things, I think if Bitcoin were to pull back to 25 or even 20, we would see some pretty dramatic corrections on both of these projects. But looking at them over the time frame that they're on and understanding the narrative, the tokenomics, the metrics, and all the different things, I think it's a pretty good strategy. It's a good way to, and I'm really liking INJ or Injective protocol right now for the next part of this cycle. Could be one of the big winners, and it's sitting at 84 right now, so it's kind of in that mid range on coin market cap where it's not extremely risky. There's still high upside. I mean, we don't want it on that price. So
666.
Definitely don't want to. Yeah, there we go. All right, whew, got a quick refresh there, but sitting at 84 on coin market cap, it's in kind of that sweet spot. I like. Somewhere between the top, like between 50 and 150 on coin market cap. A lot of those projects are strong and have potential to be good movers, could easily 10x, I would say, a lot of them in a bull run, but a lot less likely to go to zero than once you get outside of that top 200. So,
Chemistry Bro said the Frankie just brought up INJ on his premium stream just now.
Hey, look at that. Look at that. Maybe there's some synergy in the office. I promise I didn't tell him to say anything to Frank about that. So
I've been meaning to say on the team thing, just while we're mentioning it, it's really nice when a team is out in the open and they're willing to put their name in front and on a project. It just makes me feel more comfortable because I'm skeptical of humankind as a whole. So it's nice to see people putting their name behind a project and being publicly accessible like that. Being accountable for their doings and things like that in the world. That makes me feel a lot more comfortable.
Self-doxing.
Yeah, absolutely. No pressure out there. I'm not trying to make everyone do it, but it makes me feel good about a project when I see it. So
there you go. Speaking about feeling good, this is, if I was Bulgaria, I'd be feeling good. Bulgaria sees 213,000 Bitcoin in 2017 and now has an opportunity to become one of the wealthiest countries on earth. So let's real quick.
Also, Drew, get him on ATB. I hit him up like a year and a half ago.
Ooh, Bulgaria?
He's great. Yes, Bulgaria specifically.
Okay,
I know.
I'll bring the whole country.
The Bitcoin Express. He does some really great stuff.
Bitcoin Express. I'll hit him up right now.
All right, let me see. Now I got to find 213,000. I'm doing some quick math here. I just want to see.
All this merch is blockchain basement merch, or
yeah, it's all on hitmerch.com.
Yeah,
but yeah,
Bro, you asked about the hoodies. I don't have a hoodie, but I got the blockchain basement T-shirt on.
There you go.
And the matching mug.
Yeah, everybody
some people pointed out
the lock semen mug. So that's about almost $6 billion, 5.8 billion in Bitcoin right now for Bulgaria. So not bad.
What would it be in the event, which I do think is going to happen? Let's not go full. I mean, this is moon from here.
Yeah.
But if Bitcoin was $500,000, what would that mean for that? Was that like what would that mean for the holdings if they sold none between now and then?
You're talking, let's see, if Bitcoin was...
It's known as FU money.
Hold on.
Oh, that's an exponent right there.
No,
you don't even type it out. It's just to the X power. Is that trillion?
That's 500,000. Yeah, that would be $1.3 trillion.
Not bad. Not bad take.
Yeah, so you're sitting on a trillion if you get to 500K.
That's a pretty small country to be holding that amount.
It is a tiny country.
Yeah. Especially when they join BRICS.
No big deal.
Now wait a minute. I didn't pull this up. Somebody told me. Were you looking at this? The 19 wasn't it 19 nations trying to join BRICS this morning? Did you hear anything about that?
I heard it over the weekend. 19 more countries have put applications in for BRICS, and don't have the specific names, but basically there is a large list of smaller, like second, third world countries that are lining up to join BRICS, and it's becoming more and more of a narrative. I knew it was coming. That's why I feel like conflict's inevitable, because we're not going to let go of our dollar holding on the world so easily. So that's been the whole focus for like the last 10 years, is the move against the dollar initiating a physical conflict. And we see all those things happening now. Just took a lot longer than I expected it to. I've been a gold bug and a prepper for a long time in my life. I've been watching the situation for more than a decade. And now that it's here, it feels like old news to me, but I know it's kind of a new talking point for all the overnight macro experts that I see pop up. But yeah, essentially, this is just, we're at the end, or the statistical probable end of the U.S. empire, and it's not going to go out into the night quietly. So.
Well, let's think about also what backs the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar is not backed by gold.
Yeah.
And Dylan LeClaire made a pretty good point about this. You know, historically, when you look at how the Fed manages monetary policy, a big part of it has to do with like robbing Peter to pay Paul, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in 1933, they had the Gold Confiscation Act, I think it was, right? And then in 1971, we went off the gold standard, but then we could print money. But now we're in a stage where inflation is kind of out of control, and they want to bring it back to 2%. First off, I don't even remember when it was 2%, so that's kind of a funny. It's just a funny narrative that
that's
they push.
for a different reason.
So now they're in a position where they hypothetically shouldn't be printing or can't print anymore. However, now the U.S. dollar is coming under fire because the U.S., we tried to swing our weight around a little too heavily and not only sanction Russia, but whether or not it's right or wrong, I talked about this on the Bitlab show the other day, whether or not it's right or wrong, if we look at it tactfully, by doing that, we undercut the value of the U.S. dollar and any other national currency or national treasury, because we show that we're taking money out of their wallets. Right. And so
absolutely,
now if we can't print and we can't confiscate gold, then the only other thing that really drives the economy forward is war. So what war is going to be manufactured to give people positive sentiment about it happening? Because we can't just go to war. There's going to be a narrative sculpting over the course of multi-months that allows people to feel okay with us doing it.
Well, that'll be embargoes. You'll hear the word embargo heavily over the next few months, because it's going to be a control of trade with the Navy. And yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate to see. And I have a ton of conspiracies. I think this is actually just a controlled opposition situation created by Goldman Sachs to give a bad guy to the world and be able to initiate an EMP and create a CBDC afterwards once everyone's heads come out of the ground. But that's just my theory.
I think they're going to claim it on AI. So basically have AI be like, oopsies, we connected it to the internet and it broke everything.
Yeah, rogue AI cyber attack. I like that.
That seems way more likely.
Yeah, no, that's very plausible. We know they've been doing testing for cyber attacks and that sort of stuff. So
everyone's talking about it. Everyone's using it. There's controversy. Like,
Great
all
point.
lined up.
All right, last thing we're going to touch on today. I just thought this was a fun little tidbit. To be in the top 1% of BTC holders, you need about 3.6 Bitcoin. That's all it takes. So we've got Bulgaria has 213,000.
And that doesn't mean to have 0.36 Bitcoin 10x leveraged. Okay?
No, right. Yeah.
That means to have it.
That means to actually have 3.6 Bitcoin. So I just wanted, I thought that would be hopefully a word of hope for you guys out there. All it takes 3.6 Bitcoin. You too can be potentially at one point top 1% wealth holder in the world.
That's
right now, top 1% Bitcoin holder. But if things keep going on the trend that they're on, that will inevitably become a top 1% of world wealth holder. So do what you can, save up your sats, work hard, save money, buy Bitcoin. Yeah, 3.6. That's all it takes. Top 1%.
It's pretty incredible when you think about it in terms like that. Like,
it is.
And compare, you know, I was driving home. My wife's like, I just feel so average, you know, because we're like middle age or whatever. I was like, how many people do you think on the road in front of us own their cars outright, have crypto,
right,
have land, like Just think about that in your head. You're not average. You need to keep things in context. Even if you feel like a pleb sometimes, you know, you have to look at the things that you have put together, and it can be in form of, you know, your amazing family or things that you've done for other people. There's a lot of value to be had if you just look around.
Well, to that point, I used to work for this event space, gathering of the minds, kind of TED Talks kind of space in New York for, I ran all the audio and stuff. So I was always at an audio business. And so I was always there listening from everybody from Deepak Chopra to Jordan Peterson to, I mean, all these great talks. And there was I forget who it was. There's a finance person that came on and he had made a point that this goes directly to your point, Drew, that if you have $10 in your pocket and you have no debt, then you have more money than about 80% of Americans.
Wow. That's crazy.
So $10 in your wallet with no debt.
Then you're way ahead.
Because there's some people, I mean, I know people, I've been in stages of my life where I've had, you know, tens of thousands in crypto and also had $25,000 in debt. So it's like really a wash. Most people, we live in such a debt-based society now that, you know, my grandfathers, neither one of them either bought a house or a car or anything ever that they didn't pay cash for. Now, of course, the disparity between the value of things and the value of the dollar back then is very different than it is today. So is that an assault on the populace of whether it's the US or any country? I would like to think it's not, but I can't help but look at the data and see that it is positioned that way to undercut, you know, basically make us, you know, let us be entertained, but also go into debt. So we need them, you know? And so the biggest fight you can have against any government body is to be self-sovereign and have cash, not debt.
Absolutely.
Whether it's cash or crypto asset.
100%. And that's where doing all these things like we're talking about, you know, matters and it makes a difference. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit today about how to pick a good crypto project. If you enjoyed the show, please smash the like for us on the way out. As always, we love hanging out with all of you guys. We got Uncle Tinfoil, Bad Manolite, BG, Nana, SAS Finance, Trippy, Crypto Stevo, BG. We've got Crypto Totoro, IB Mike King, Punani Vamper, Urkelson, Mama Crypto, Manawak, White Girl Problems, White Girl Probs, Casino Doggy, Razmataz, Ninja Glock, Joe Ether. Love all you guys. We will be back here, same time, same place tomorrow. Stack those sats, roll those portfolios up, take those profits. We love you all. See you next time. Bye.
Okay.